Smooth 98.1. I love music, love life. This is a Business Express. It's the Tech Friday edition. I've got Rotus and Fisayo with me this morning. Good morning, fellas.
Good morning. Good to be with you guys.
Good morning.
Awesome. So let us know what your thoughts are. The WhatsApp number is 0809 4440981. And you can also tweet us Smooth981. We're streaming live on YouTube as well. So catch the live stream and you can even post a comment on there as well. So ChatGPT might have a new rival.
That is correct. This just, I think it was yesterday or the day before, Google release in a limited release of Bard, or is it Bard? Which is its own AI engine to rival ChatGPT even which has now been incorporated in Bing by Microsoft. So what I thought was interesting, that it looks like Google has been forced into doing this earlier than they preferred, because in the reviews that I'm reading, we don't have it here yet. It's only in the US and the UK. When you test it out, there are so many disclaimers. Bard may make a mistake. Bard may say something offensive. Bard is still under experiment. The more you use Bard, the more feedback you give us, you will get. So I mean, there were really lots of disclaimers saying, listen, this thing is not perfect. It's not quite there yet. We're still testing it. Fisayo, what did you make of the release?
I mean, I think it's rushed, but again, it's a competitive thing. So, like we normally tell startups founders that if you are not ashamed of your first product, you probably launched too late, right? So I guess that's what Google is trying to do here, to say that, yes, guys, I know there is OpenAI version ChatGPT. In fact, there is GPT-4 now, right? So if OpenAI is going with so much scale, going globally, right, quickly, right, it means that Google is behind, especially when it is some industry that they are both interested in. And of course, Microsoft are figured out a way to ensure that they acquired or find a way that OpenAI becomes theirs, in the future, right? So those kind of things are, just competitive tension between two global companies, right? And of course, regarding the disclaimers, I think it's a natural thing to do. Like, hey, be careful around here. Don't, because they know that if Bard, you see now I'm calling GPT, you see, if Bard says something offensive, developed markets can take legal actions. There are things, there are consequences to suggestions or answers given by any AI engine, as it were. So for Google, I'm sure their lawyers have said, guys, we don't want to go through any legal fight over anything that the Bard says. So this is the way, so that no one will say they missed it, right? And I think that's what they're doing. So it's interesting to see how the future will shape out. I mean, this is the first time ever that, well, maybe not first time ever, but in recent history, that Google is being threatened, by competitors. So it's interesting to see that developed companies, can get jittery and do something very quickly to address competitive tension. We'll see how that goes in future.
Fisayo, you're in the edtech space. Why do you think artificial intelligence and these chatbots will affect how children learn? It looks like it's going to be a lot. They have more tools to help them now compared to when all of us were in school. Or how do you think it will affect things?
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting, right? With incorporation of AI, I've been using OpenAI. I mean, I've been using ChatGPT for some time, right? In fact, ChatGPT had written a few of my articles, right? Well, it will write the first draft, then I'll look at it, I'll change, give it a different prompt, it will update it, and until I find a good draft, then I take that draft and then put some local context into it. And I'm done writing an article in 1 hour rather than taking me 3-4 weeks, to write That article. So there's some things that, yes, of course, there's some things that it definitely gets wrong, about maybe who founded what company, again, just different things that it really got wrong. But of course, even GPT had put the disclaimers around recent information might not have been uploaded yet, all of that kind of thing. So again, everyone has some disclaimer around it. But to your question specifically, I think that this is interesting to see how knowledge industry shapes out going forward, right? Because you can give children assignments and they could literally go and ask Bard or GPT, and GPT give them the answer and then bring it back to you, right? So that thing around what knowledge is going to change going forward. That thing around, testing for students to get admission to university, because they know that, anything will have happened. I remember talking to someone that is writing an MBA application. I told him, have you asked, OpenAI to help you write the first draft? Because this is something that these things can do. I mean, their writing is so sweet, right? It is so, I love the writing, right? So put in your information, let it spill out the first draft. You can limit its words, no more than 250 words, no more than 300 words. It would align, and of course, write you a decent or a beautiful profile. I can use that to get the admission to the business school if you want to use that. So again, there are different things that change. I think that I'm just scared around what knowledge will look like going forward, especially when OpenAI has already passed all the New York bars, the California bars, some of the biggest, bar exams. And, we've seen people trying to say that, AI could defend you in court because, again, he has all the references to the laws, that could be useful to your case. So all of these things can then now be fed into preparation of lawyers, into preparation of students, into just many things. And I think that, the future of knowledge is going to change compared to what we have today. I mean, previously it's about you knowing how to do research on Google, like how to ask the right questions, and then you see all the resources that you need. But right now, no, don't just write the right question, you just get the answer. That's the beautiful thing. So you want to write a project, maybe the best you have to do is just, divide it into subtopics and then start asking questions around those subtopics and then just copying the answer and pasting it for your operations supervisor. I mean, the future of knowledge is changing.
Amazing stuff. Amazing stuff. I want to quickly, do we touch on Strike and Bitcoin or TikTok national security? What should we quickly touch on before we go? What do you think? Let me just do the TikTok. The TikTok CEO, he was grilled for 5 hours in Washington, D.C., Capitol Hill. They're trying to get TikTok banned, and he was defending himself. Is TikTok really representing a national security threat, or is this just a proxy war or struggle between America and China?
It's definitely a struggle between America and China. It's definitely a struggle between America and China. And of course, you see, I'll delve into some international politics thing now because I know you might not like it. But the point is that, when Trump was president, I have to refer to this thing because, guys, we're seeing,
Trump tried to ban TikTok. He tried to ban
it. I've never said what I want to say. You are already saying, because right now, between the US, Joe Biden has figured a way to ensure that the opposition to the US is stronger than before. Now, China and Russia are in alignment against the US. You see, when Trump was saying back in the days that it's best for US and Russia to get along, he knew what he was talking about. But now, what the policy had done is that he has driven Russia and China together. And suddenly, America is in a weaker spot than it was 4 years ago. And that has to be clear. So all this, nonsense around TikTok being a threat to national security is nonsense, because all the things they're accusing TikTok of doing, Google does. All the things they're accusing TikTok of doing, Facebook does. So what's the, and of course, because Facebook and Google are not allowed free reign in China, they're just trying to retaliate to say, okay, this is a Chinese company. But of course, the TikToks are like, no, it's an American company by Chinese owners. So again, these are critical things, because the decision they make today will determine what the future of America will be when it comes to incorporation by non-citizens, right? Many Nigerian startups are incorporated in the US. So what happens to TikTok today, to determine what happens to those kind of companies when push comes to shove. So all of these issues around national security are just excuses to fight a proxy war with China, right? But all said, I guess that America is in a weaker spot today than it was 4 years ago because of terrible policies, terrible politics, international politics by the current administration, of course, by everyone involved in running the US today. Inflation is at its highest high, banks are collapsing. These are things that are not seen in just 3 years ago. I mean, it's such a shame that America has descended to this level. Now, at a critical, 2008, you see, when Donald Trump was setting new records, people thought Obama was a new high, was setting new records almost every month, GDP records, job records, just setting up anything until COVID happened. Just you're like, yeah, you see how easy a country can be destroyed in less than 3 years. Everything has gone to nonsense in less than 3 years, guys.
All right.
Oh. I'm so disappointed. But again,
Zibby, good point.
Fake news media will never highlight some of these things for their listeners.
Zibby, do you think TikTok is a national security threat?
It has the potential to be honest, and I don't want to sound like a conspiracy theorist, but it's got some almost hypnotizing effect on people who use it. It seems like TikTok has spilled into everyday life. So I'm a bit wary of it, to be honest. Maybe I just
wary of Instagram. I'm wary of Google.
But those are American companies, though.
But they're national security threat to Nigerians because Google knows where you are, because they're following your location. These are national security threat to other people. So the point is not, they're just trying to, it's politics all through and through. All the things, like I said, all the things accusing TikTok or Facebook does exactly the same, if not worse. Right? Google does exactly the same, if not worse. So the same way the US would build, will build, nuclear weapons, but preventing Iran from building. Exactly what is happening. The same way Facebook, American company collect data, but trying to prevent TikTok from collecting the same. Is what is happening. So this is not is as far as I'm concerned is politics.
Hypocrisy.
All right, let's look at some messages coming through. Funke says, I don't know why Fisayo is so excited about AI. It's killing brain matter and thinking. And Michael says, I fear that ChatGPT may make people brain lazy. Plagiarism may become more prevalent in schools, except in locations where they have tools that check for plagiarism. Regardless, ChatGPT is a welcome development in the world.
All right, those are valid concerns. Fisayo, always a pleasure having you on the show. Thanks for joining us. And shout out to all our listeners sending messages as well. Appreciate it.
All right, that's all the time that we have for Business Express. Thank you, Rotus. Thank you, Fisayo. Do stay with us. There's a lot more to come on the Smooth Breakfast.
Brought to you by Transaction